Alright, so this is my collection from the dollar store for the dollar store challenge. Not sure what all is going to end up in it, but I'm kind of thinking I might do a triptych kind of thing. I think these are so cute. Aren't they cute? Anyways, we'll decorate them up. I'll probably paint them since they're two different colors. And then I got some pens. We'll have to test them out and see how well they work. But they're colors. I got them because I got these sort of Zentangle stickers. I figured you could color them and then sticker them on somewhere. They look like fun. And then I got these napkins. So I might do a napkin collage. I really don't know what I'm doing yet. And some stickers. I got those because they're flowery. They kind of went with this a little bit. And then I saw these. They're stickers. They look like they're the kind that just don't have the big border around them. So I thought they'd be fun. I don't know if I'll use them on this project, but for the very least on ATCs. Let's see. And then I got these. I don't know. I was thinking splatter tools. Maybe cut this and do lines with paint. Let's see. What else did I get? Oh. They have bigger things of paint, tempera paint, but they were all out. So I figured I would get red, yellow, and blue. Red, yellow, blue. And I'll add some of my own white, my own black, and try to just use these colors and mix them. I have to practice my mixing. They also had these little blocks of tissue, and on somebody's channel I saw them kind of paint with tissue, so it might happen, not sure. They had photo paper. I don't know if I'll use it for this project, but I've seen some like alcohol ink paintings done on photo paper, and it's really kind of cool. Won't be the same effect with that, so I'm not sure. Maybe with the tissue paper. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then, I mean, who can pass up 30 doilies for $1? They may end up being stencils. They may be texture on a collage. They may not end up in my dollar store challenge, but yeah, 32 doilies for $1. Can't beat it. All right, wish me luck. So the first thing I'm going to do is unpackage these frames, because I did decide I wanted to do a triptych. So this is the first piece of it, and to tell you a little bit about this particular challenge, there's a group of us doing the dollar store challenge to create art or a craft using no more than $15 from the dollar store, and we are kind of doing it as a video hop, so there'll be links below. There is also a giveaway associated with this. They are giving away a $20 gift card to the Dollar Tree. If you're in the United States, I know if you're not in the United States, you probably don't have a Dollar Tree. They will, if you are the winner and you're not in the United States, they will get you $20, I believe, through PayPal. I will put all the links below because Shemi Dixon is the one that's hosting this particular video hop, and she is managing the giveaway, and so it will be on her link on her YouTube channel. But like I said, it'll all be in the description box below. So there are two paints that I am using from my stash. Well, they're not paint, they're gesso. It's like paint. I am using black and white gesso that I decided I needed white and needed black. So I am adding that along with those tubes of fabric paint that you saw earlier in my stash of stuff that I picked up at the dollar store. So I am showing just a little bit of each step. I won't make you watch me do all 3 frames because it just repeats itself. But I put a couple of coats of gesso on these frames. I did sand them. That's what I was doing actually with just a little emery board thing. So I didn't really sand them too much. It took the gloss off, so hopefully that paint will stick. And these are the inserts that were on them, and they have a little clothespin and a wire, and we got to take that off. I wasn't going to do anything with the backs, but one of them had a gouge mark on it, so I wanted to cover that up, so I've decided to just gesso with black gesso each of the boards, and so we want them to be the same. We're going to do all 3 of them the same way. So we'll move the rest of this stuff out of the way. I toss those little tapes in the garbage and then decide I need the black tape later. So yeah, now we're gonna cover these all with black gesso. Just to make them all the same and nice and black. Alright, so while those are drying, I am going to paint the clothespins, and I really, doing this, I kind of have an idea at this point that I want to do something, some words in those frames. So 3 different words, and I was thinking like sun, sea, sand, beach, I don't know. Something beachy, and I was kind of thinking of my sister when I was doing this, and so I wanted to come up with a turquoise color. So yeah, that is what I'm going to do here, is try and create a kind of a turquoisey aqua color. So I mixed some of the blue with my white gesso, and we're adding some yellow to get it a light, kind of light green color going. I was actually really surprised that I got the color as close as I did. And I'm just barely putting yellow on there every time. I didn't want to overkill it. I didn't want to go too far. I probably showed too much of this mixing, but I wanted you to see, you know, it is kind of a slow process when you add a little bit at a time until you get it the way you want it. And that was a really big palette knife too, so hard to work with. But my other one would have cut the paper, so now I'm just gonna paint all of these clothespins. And I think I actually only end up using about $5 worth from the dollar store. I use the frames. There are 3, so that's $3. And then I use the paints. That's another $1. And that's $4. And I use one other thing. You'll see that in a little while. Took me a while to get all the paint in the right areas on those clothespins. So I had some leftover paint, didn't want it to go to waste, so I grabbed these index cards, and we're just going to put paint on these index cards just so that we can use them at some later date. I do end up using them in this project, but I didn't know that I was going to at the time. I just wanted to use up the paint. And I apply the paint 3 different ways. Just to keep things interesting. There we go. Alright, so next I decide, I felt like I needed to use something more, so I decided I would take one of these paper doilies and collage it onto the background just as a little bit of texture. Now I thought about rubbing, I do have some Inca Gold, and I thought about rubbing the ridges with the Inca Gold to give it some interest, but I didn't want to add anything else that I didn't get from the dollar store, so I don't do that. Plus it wouldn't have worked with what I end up doing anyway, so it's all good. So we're just gonna glue the doilies just in a couple of corners on each of these. And I was really surprised that black lifted up on the onto the doily from the gesso. I'm guessing that's what happened. And that is Liquitex black gesso. I don't think it came from the board underneath. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to put another layer of gesso over the top of that, because we don't really want it to show, we just want there to be some sort of interesting texture on there. And I do that with each of the backs. So there we go. Now I am mixing up, I was trying to come up with a brown, and I know brown is kind of a combination, so I thought maybe this would work, putting the 3 of these together. And it's kind of a muddy color, but it's not exactly brown. It's like a black brown. And just to warn you, if you do this, now I didn't notice it so much when I was doing the clothespins, and I did have it mixed with the gesso. I didn't notice the smell as much, but when I was doing this one, if you use these and you're sensitive to fumes and stuff, use them in a well-ventilated area, because the smell got really strong. These are fabric paints. I don't know if that is why they were so strong. And putting them straight, I put them on, sponge them onto these frames, and even dried, they were totally sticky. So the clothespins weren't sticky, and I think that was because the gesso was added. But these frames were totally sticky. Now my plan was to make sort of a, what's the word, verdigris, sort of like a rusty, sort of patinaed looking frames. Needless to say, it doesn't really work. Here I am trying to create a lighter brown because that was way too dark. So I decided I would make my orange color first. Get it the shade of orange I wanted. Apparently I think it's still too red. There we go. Now I'm going to add a little bit of white gesso to lighten it up, because I know if I add the blue I'll end up with the same thing I had before. So we're going to add the white to it. And then we're going to add just a little bit of blue, a little bit at a time. And this really ends up being kind of a gross brown. It's easier to buy brown, people, than to mix it. Much easier to buy brown. Yeah, that's a little bit of the black gesso. I wanted to darken it, but not to turn it blue, so add a little bit of black to it. You know, I like brown. This is not it. Alright, so I decided to go with that. We're going to sponge it around the frame. Looking back at this, I think it would have been better if I gessoed it with black and added the color on top of the black. But I didn't really know where I was going with it at the time. So I do that to all the frames. Now we've got them here, and I don't like them. So I decide I'm going to sponge some black, get most of the edges all black, and then put a little bit on the top. Do that, of course, with all of them. I decided there's still too much white, so I am just going in the corners of each of the frames and filling in with the leftover black gesso that's sitting there. And the extra white areas, I'm covering those up as well. And then I decide I still don't like my frames, so we're going to make some more of the turquoisey color. And we are going to sponge that onto the frames. And we're just going to add some more color. And I guess I can keep layering paint on these frames until it's so thick. I don't know. I don't even know. But I don't like the finished product here either, so I do add more once we get done with this. So I really coated in there, and I decide too much turquoise, too much something. So I'm going back over with the black again. And just really getting the edges, and then just coming up along on the sides. I just think it's all too busy. Between that and the pieces I'm going to be putting in the middle, it's very busy. But the beauty of these frames with the little clothespin on them is you can change the image inside anytime you feel like it. Well, and if you've got paint, you can change the frames anytime you feel like it too. So now that that's done and our backgrounds are dry, we're going to put our clothespins back on. I'm just trying to get them back where the marks were, where I took them off. Spin them down. I was looking to see if there's any difference on either side. There's not. So we've got those all there, and we're going to put the tapes back on the back. Oh yeah, I was measuring to make sure there's enough space for that picture. Now I'm replacing those tapes. There we go. And we're going to put them back in the frame. See, isn't that cute? You can just put your little picture in there. So there's all 3 of them. And now we're going to take these and turn them into our images. So I'm just getting the measurement. I could have read the picture, it says 4 by 4. We're going to just trim these index cards to 4 by 4. I just want to keep them real simple, so I'm just going to put a little bit of ink around the edges. I was thinking, I guess. Like I paused there for a minute. I don't know what I was thinking. Trying to decide what I was going to do. These stamps are not from the dollar store. They were from Michael's, but they were in their discount bin. They probably cost a couple of dollars, but I've had them for a while. I was going to do something for Christmas for my sister, but ended up giving her something else. And I'm just going to stamp these sort of beachy, ocean themed stamps all over this pages. I'm just doing it really randomly. I guess kind of just making pattern paper. And they might be a little bit busy. So now it takes me a while to decide. I tried stamping the word, I think it was C, yeah, and putting it on there. I decided the word was way too small, just kind of disappeared in there. And that's my biggest stamp, so then I decided I'm going to have to try and freehand it. So I draw it on a separate piece of paper before I attempt it on there. Because I don't have any more of that color. I'd have to mix it all over again. And I'd rather just get the writing right. So that's me cutting it out to put it on there to see if it looks big enough. Yeah, I guess that looks big enough. Okay. So we're just going to be brave and go for it. There we've got all our words, and I do go around each of them just to darken that and make it look a little bit more finished. I just wanted it to pop a little bit more, so I just go around with a dark pen. The first one I used was my Pentel brush pen, and so it had a brush tip, and this one is solid, so it's firm, and I just put a little border around the letters. And I did that with all of them. Alright. So now they're there, nice and dark. Now we're going to add them to our little frames. So there you go. What do you think? I think it turned out pretty good for $5 because that's what I spent on the stuff I used. I hope you liked that. Don't forget to follow the links below and see everybody else's videos. And don't forget the giveaway. The link to that is in my description box below as well. And if you did like it, please hit like. Feel free to share. And if you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.